Hello and welcome to Innovative Learning Process. Now we'll take Economic Survey 24-25. Economic Survey. Chinese exports surged with a trade surplus nearing $1 trillion in 2024. Chinese exports surged $1 trillion in 2024, moving from guilty until proven innocent framework to innocent until proven guilty. This should be our framework. Innocent until proven guilty. Global economy grew by 3.3% in 2023. Suez Canal, key route for 15% of global maritime trade. Suez Canal, 15% of global maritime trade. Geopolitical economic policy uncertainty index increased. Geopolitical economic policy uncertainty index increased 2023 121.7 to 2024 133.6. 2023 121.7, 2024 133.6. Due to global concerns about economic policies, World Trade Uncertainty Index increased from 8.5 in 2023 to 13 2024. 8.5 2023 to 13 2024, driven by trade tensions and policy shifts in major economies. Indian economy GDP growth estimated at 6.4% in financial year 25. Indian economy GDP growth estimated at 6.4% in financial year 25. Demand side. Private final consumption expenditure at constant prices is estimated to grow by 7.3%. Private final consumption expenditure at constant price is estimated to grow by 7.3%, driven by a rebound in rural demand side. Supply side. Real gross value added GVA is estimated to grow by 6.4%. Supply side. GVA is to grow by 6.4%. Agriculture sector is expected to rebound a growth of 3.8% in financial year 25. Agriculture sector 3.8% in financial year 25. Industrial sector estimated to grow by 6.2% in financial year 25. Industrial sector 6.2% to grow. Growth in services sector expected to remain robust at 7.2%. Growth in services sector robust at 7.2%, driven by healthy activity in financial, real estate, professional services, defense and other services. 7.2% in services sector. Purchasing Managers Index PMI. Despite various challenges, India continues to register fastest growth in manufacturing purchasing managers index. Inflation. CPI has softened from 5.4% financial year 24 to 4.2% in April December 2024. Inflation softened 5.4% to 4.2%. 5.4% to 4.2% inflation softened. Capital expenditure improved continuously from FY21 to FY24. Post general election, capex grew year on year by 8.2% during July November 2024. Capex post election general election, capex grew year on year by 8.2% during July November 2024. External sector, India accounts for 7th largest share in global services export. 7th largest share in global services export, underscoring India's global competitiveness in the sector. External sector, 7th largest share in global services export. Employment trend, as per 2023-24 annual periodic labor force survey, annual periodic labor force survey PLFS, unemployment rate for individual aged 15 years and above steadily declined from 6% to 3.2%. 6% 2017-18, 3.2% 2023-24. This is unemployment, declining unemployment rate, 6% to 3.2%. India's formal sector expanded significantly, with net employees provident fund organization EPFO's subscriptions rising from 61 lakh to 131 lakh. Financial year 19, 61 lakh, and in 24, 131 lakh. This is EPFO subscription, that is showing that net formal sector is expanding. Way forward, GDP growth in FY26 to be between 6.3 and 6.8%. GDP growth in FY26 to be between 6.3% to 6.8%. Monetary and financial sector, monetary and financial sector developments, the cart and the horse. Cart and the horse. GNPA's fall. GNPA's fall. Consistent improvement in profitability of scheduled commercial banks, as reflected in a fall in gross non-performing assets. GNPH is falling. That is showing this is the due to a growing improving profitability of scheduled commercial banks. GNPAs fall. GNPA's ratio of scheduled commercial banks declined consistently from its peak in FY18 to 2.6%, FY18 to 2.6% at the end of September 2024. GNPA's ratio of scheduled commercial banks declined consistently from its peak in FY18 to 2.6% at the end of September 2024. At the end of September 24, the capital to risk weighted assets ratio CRAR of scheduled commercial banks stood at 16.7%. CRAR capital to risk weighted asset ratio stood at 16.7%. Rural financial institutions. Regional rural banks number of branches grew from 14,494 in 2006 to 21,856 in 2023. Regional rural banks branches grew 14,494 in 2006 and increased 21,856 in 2023. Increased. Financial inclusion. Improvement in RBI's financial inclusion index from 53.9 March 2021 to 64.2 March 2024. RBI's financial inclusion index 53.9 March 2021, 64.2 March 2024. Development in capital market. BSE stock market capitalization to GDP ratio stood at 136%. BSE stock market capitalization to GDP ratio stood at 136% December 2024, far higher than other emerging market economies like China 65%, Brazil 37%. Insurance sector. Total insurance premium grew by 7.7% in FY24. Total insurance premium grew by 7.7% in FY24. Pension sector. Total number of subscribers showing a year-on-year growth of 16% as of September 24. Pension sector. Subscribers showing growth of 16% as of September 24. Cyber security aspects of India's financial sector. Reports indicate almost 1/5 of all reported cyber incidents involve financial institutions, with banks being the most affected. One fifth of the cyber incidents involve financial institutions, with banks being the most affected. IMF's Global Financial Stability Report. IMF's Global Financial Stability Report. Cyber attacks have resulted in extreme financial losses, which have increased fourfold since 2017, amounting to US $2.5 billion. Fourfold financial losses increased fourfold since 2017, amounting to US $2.5 billion. This is IMF's Global Financial Stability Report. Cyber attacks have resulted in extreme financial losses, which have increased fourfold since 2017, amounting to US $2.5 billion. External sector, getting FDI right. Disruptions in Red Sea that began in November 2023. Higher shipping costs, longer delivery times. Disruptions in Red Sea that began in November 2023. Conflict in Hormuz Strait, which channels 21% of global petroleum liquid consumption. 21% of global petroleum liquid consumption in Hormuz Strait. Climate change enhanced uncertainties. Example: drought in Panama Canal. Drought in Panama Canal affecting 5% of global maritime trade volumes that transit through it. 5% of global maritime trade volumes that transit through it. Drought in Panama Canal. Tariff policies. International trade policies under WTO had reduced border tariffs among nations. Example: 2000 and 2024 average tariff rate on dutiable items in India decreased from 48.9% to 17.3%. Decreased dutiable items tariff rate. Tariff policies, international trade policies under WTO had resulted reduced border tariffs among nations. Example: since 2000 to 2024, average tariff rate on dutiable items in India decreased from 48.9% to 17.3%. Non-tariff measures, NTMs. Global Trade Alert database shows. Global Trade Alert database shows between 2020 to 24 over 26,000 new restrictions. 26,000 2020 to 24 over 26,000 new restrictions related to trade and investment globally imposed. Most affected sectors: agriculture, manufacturing, natural resources. India's trade performance: overall exports, merchandise plus services grew by 6% year on year in the first 9 months of FY25. Overall exports, merchandise and services grew by 6% year on year in the first 9 months of financial year 25. Services sector grew by 11.6% during the same time. Services sector grew by 11.6% during the same time. India commands 10.2% of global export market in telecommunications, computer and information services. 10.2% of global export market India commands in telecommunications, computer information services, and ranking second largest exporter in the world. India has the ranking second largest exporter in the world, UNCTAD report. India balance of payments, resilience and challenges. Current account. Current account deficit stood at 1.2% of GDP in quarter 2 of financial year 25. Current account. Current account deficit stood at 1.2% of GDP in quarter 2 of financial year 25. Performance of FDI flow in India. Performance of FDI flows in India. Gross FDI inflows increased by 17.9% in financial year 25. Gross FDI inflows increased by 17.9% in FY25 in comparison to FY24. Performance of FDI flows in India. Gross FDI inflows increased by 17.9% in FY25 in comparison to FY24. Foreign exchange reserves in India is stood at US dollar 640.3 billion. 640.3 billion foreign exchange reserves at the end of December 24. As of the end of December 24, 640.3 billion US dollar, sufficient to cover 10.9 months of imports and approximately 90% of the country's external debt. 640.3 billion December 24 forex, sufficient to cover 10.9 months of imports and approximately 90% of the country's external debt. External debt position in India, it's remained stable over the past few years, with the external debt to GDP ratio standing at 19.4% at the end of September 24. External debt to GDP ratio is standing at 19.4% at the end of September 2024. Global trade dynamics is shifting from globalization to rising trade protectionism, accompanied by increased uncertainty. To remain competitive and enhance its participation in global supply chains, India must continue reducing the trade costs and improving facilitation to boost export competitiveness. India's external sector remains resilient with strong FDI inflows, growing services exports, and a balanced trade strategy. But challenges are trade restrictions, supply chain vulnerabilities, global slowdown, and this require strategic policy response. Trade restrictions, supply chain vulnerabilities, global slowdown, and these require strategic policy response. Prices and inflation, understanding the dynamics. This is chapter 4. Global inflation declined to 5.7% in 2024. Global inflation declined to 5.7% in 2024 from its peak of 8.7% in 2022. IMF data is saying that in 2022 global inflation was 8.7% and in 2024 declined to 5.7%. Core inflation reached its lowest point in a decade. Core inflation reached to its lowest point in a decade. Domestic inflation. India's retail inflation reduced from 5.4% to 4.9% FY24 to 25. 5.4% retail inflation reduced from FY24 5.4%, but in 25 4.9% after reducing. Food inflation. Over the past 2 years, India's food inflation rate remained firm. Consumer Food Price Index CFPI increased from 7.5% in FY24 to 8.4% in FY25. Consumer Food Price Consumer Food Price Index increased from 7.5% to 8.4% FY24 to 25, primarily driven by vegetables and pulses. By excluding tomato, onion, potato, meat, price sensitive vegetables from CPI basket, average food inflation rate was 6.5% in FY25. by excluding top any tomato, onion, potato, meat price sensitive vegetable from CPI basket, average food inflation rate was 6.5% in FY25. Buffer stock of onion to control inflation. 4.7 lakh MT of Ravi onion produced under price stabilization fund. 4.7 lakh MT of Ravi onion procured under price stabilization fund to control inflation. Buffer stock of onion. Outlook. RBI and IMF projected India's CPI will gradually align with target in FY26. Inflation rate. IMF projected 4.4% in FY25 and 4.1% in 26 for India. Inflation rate. IMF projected inflation rate 4.4% in FY25 and 4.1% in FY26. Headline inflation. RBI projected to be 4.2% FY26, 4.2% in headline inflation. RBI projected if there is normal monsoon and no further external policy shocks. 4.2% in FY26 RBI. Chapter 5. Medium term outlook. Deregulation. Medium term outlook. Deregulation drivers growth. Deregulation drives growth. To become Viksit Bharat by 2047, India needs a growth rate of 8% at constant prices on average for a decade or two in order to realize its economic aspirations of becoming Viksit Bharat 2047. India needs a growth rate of 8% at constant prices on average for a decade or two in order to realize its economic aspirations of becoming Viksit Bharat 2047. World Economic Outlook. IMF. India to become a US dollar 5 trillion economy by FY28. World Economic Outlook. IMF report. India to become a US dollar 5 trillion economy by FY28 and reach a size of US dollar 6.307 trillion by FY30. India will become 6.307 trillion by FY30. Geo-economic fragmentation. UNIDO projected China will account for 45% of all global manufacturing. Outmatching the US and its allies by 2030. UNIDO projected China will account for 45% of all global manufacturing, outmatching the US and its allies by 2030. China dominates energy transition technologies with nearly 80% share of solar panels, polysilicon ingots, wafers, cells, modules, and world's battery manufacturing capacity. China dominates energy transition technologies with nearly 80% share of solar panels, polysilicon ingots, wafers, cells, modules, and world's battery manufacturing capacity. GEF, defined as policy driven reversal of global economic integration, often often guided by strategic consideration. GEF, defined as policy driven reversal of global economies integration, often guided by strategic consideration. Trade capital migration flows through which fragmentation is reshaping the global economy. Trade capital migration flows through which fragmentation is reshaping the global economy. Geoeconomic fragmentation GEF, implications of geoeconomic fragmentation. GEF is replacing globalization, leading to imminent economic realignments and readjustments. Realignment and readjustments. Increased trade and investment restrictions. It means trade and investment restrictions are being increased due to GEF. 2024, 2022-24, over 20,000 new restrictions related to trade and investment have gone into place globally. 2020 to 24, over 20,000 new restrictions related to trade and investment have gone into place globally. Chapter 6, Investment and Infrastructure. Keep keeping it going. Union government capital expenditure on key infrastructure sectors has grown at a rate of 38.6% from FY20 to FY24. Union government's capital expenditure on key infrastructure sectors has grown at a rate of 38.6% from FY20 to 24. Railways sector between April and October 2024, 17 new pairs of Vande Bharat trains introduced. Between April and October 2024, 17 new pairs of Vande Bharat trains introduced. 91 Gati Shakti multi-modal cargo terminal commissioned. 91 Gati Shakti multi-modal cargo terminal commissioned between April and October 24. Indian Railways target 30 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2029 to 30. Indian Railways targets 30 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2029 to 30. Road sector total road network of 63.4 lakh kilometer. Road network 63.4 lakh kilometer, including national highway network of 1.46 lakh kilometer. National highway network of 1.46 lakh kilometer. Total road network 63.4 lakh kilometer. National highways network 1.46 lakh kilometer. National highway carries about 40% of overall road freight traffic. National highways carries about 40% of the overall road freight traffic. 58-53 kilometer of national highway was constructed in FY25. 58-53 kilometer of national highway was constructed in FY25. भारतमाला परियोजना 2017 aims to develop 34,800 km of NH. Aims to develop 34,800 km of NH national highway by 2024. Approximately 76% of the project has been awarded. By 2024, approximately 76% of the projects has been awarded. Multimodal logistics parks. Multimodal logistics parks till December 2024. 6 MMLPs in Chennai, Indore, Nagpur, Jalna, Jogigopa, Bangalore have been awarded. Multimodal logistics parks till December 24. 6 MMLPAs in Chennai, Indore, Nagpur, Jalna, Jogigopa, Bangalore have been awarded. Civil aviation sector, airport cargo handling capacity gradually increasing, reaching 8 million MT in FY24. Airport cargo handling capacity gradually increasing, reaching 8 million MT in FY24. Civil aviation sector, Udan scheme 619 routes connecting 18 airports including 2 water aerodromes and 13 heliports have been operational so far. Udan scheme 619 routes connecting 18 airports including 2 water aerodromes and 13 heliports have been operational so far. Ports, shipping and inland waterways sector, reduction in average container turnaround time in major ports 48.1 hour in FY24, 30.4 hour in FY25. April to November, reduction in average container turnaround time in major ports 48.1 hour in FY24, 30.4 hour in FY25. April to November. Progress under Sagarmala program. Highest projects completion rates in post modernization, port led industrialization. Under Sagarmala project, highest project completion rates in post modernization and port led industrialization. Chabahar Port and INSTC. Chabahar Port, Shahid Behishti Port at Chabahar connect Mumbai to Eurasia via Instak, reduces transport costs and time, leading to a 43% increase in vessel traffic and 34% rise in container traffic for FY24. Ports and Instak. Chabahar Port, Shahid Beheshti Port at Chabahar connects Mumbai to Eurasia via Instak, reduces transport costs and time, leading to a 43% increase in vessel traffic, 34% rise in container traffic for FY24. Harit Nauka Guidelines, launched in 2024. It aims to green 1000 inland vessels over next 10 years? 1000 inland vessels. Harit Nauka guidelines in launched in 2024. It aims to green 1000 inland vessels over next 10 years. Power sector share of renewable energy in India's total installed capacity now stands at 47%. Share of renewable energy in India's total installed capacity now stands at 47%. Total renewable energy installed capacity increased by 15.8% year on year, reaching to 209.4 gigawatt. Power sector share of renewable energy in India's total installed capacity now stands at 47%. Total renewable energy installed capacity increased by 15.8% year on year, reaching 209.4 gigawatt. Telecommunication sector by 31 October 2024, 5G services were launched in all states and union territories. Initiative BharatNet project by 31 October 2024, 5G services were launched in all states and union territories. Initiative BharatNet project. Information technology sector. As of November 2024, National Informatics Center supports 1917 applications, 1917 applications are being supported by National Informatics Center NIC on its cloud under Meghraj GI Cloud Initiative. Under Meghraj GI Cloud Initiative. Meghraj GI Cloud Initiative. Meghraj aimed at delivering ICT services via cloud computing to center or state or UT developments. Meghraj aimed at delivering ICT services via cloud computing to center, state, UTs departments. Data center market in India expected to grow from 4.5 billion to 11.6 billion by 2032. 2023 4.5 billion, 2032 11.6 billion. Data center market in India expected to grow from 4.5 billion to 11.6 billion. Rural drinking and water sanitation sector Jal Jeevan Mission 2019. Over 12 crore families have gained access of piped drinking water since 2019. Jal Jeevan Mission 2019. Over 12 crore families have gained access of piped drinking water since 2019. States achieved 100% coverage. अरुणाचल प्रदेश, गोवा, हरियाणा, हिमाचल प्रदेश, गुजरात, Punjab, Telangana. These are the states which have achieved 100% coverage under Jal Jeevan Mission. स्वच्छ भारत मिशन फेज 2 ग्रामीण. स्वच्छ भारत मिशन ग्रामीण फेज 2. During April-November 2024, 1.92 lakh villages were declared ODF plus open defecation free plus under model category, taking the total number of ODF plus villages to 3.64 lakhs. 3.64 lakhs total number of ODF plus villages. अर्बन सेक्टर पीएम आवास योजना अर्बन 2015 completed over 89 lakh hours, completed over 89 lakh houses in urban areas. पीएम आवास योजना अर्बन 2015 completed over 89 lakh houses in urban areas. Urban transport. Growing metro and rapid rail systems with 1010 km currently operational in 23 cities. Urban transport. Growing metro and rapid rail systems with 1010 km currently operational in 23 cities. Amrut, Achal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation Scheme. Achal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation Scheme. Under it, tap water coverage increased to 70%. Sewerage coverage risen to 62%. Sewerage coverage risen to 62%. Tourism sector. Prasad, pilgrimage, rejuvenation and spiritual augmentation drive. Prasad, pilgrimage, rejuvenation and spiritual augmentation drive. To develop tourism infrastructure at identified pilgrimage destinations and heritage cities. As of December 2024, 26 out of 48 projects completed. 26 out of 48 projects completed. Swadesh Darshan Scheme 2 2022 to develop sustainable, responsible tourism destinations. As of December 2024, 75 out of 76 projects have been completed. As of December 24, 75 out of 76 projects have been completed. Space sector. India currently operates 56 active space assets, including 19 communication satellites, 9 navigation satellites, 4 scientific satellites, 24 Earth observation satellites. Total 56 space assets India is operating. 19 communication satellites, 9 navigation satellites, 4 scientific satellites, and 24 Earth observation satellites. Government's Space Vision 2047. Gaganyaan follow-on mission for establishment of first module of Bharatiya Antariksh Station. Gaganyaan follow-on mission for establishment of first module of Bharatiya Antariksh Station. Chandrayaan for lunar sample return mission. Chandrayaan for lunar sample return mission and Venus orbiter mission. Development of next generation launch vehicle NGLV. Summary. India's infrastructure investment remains a key growth driver, focusing on India's infrastructure investment remains a key growth driver, focusing on connectivity, energy transition, digital transformation, connectivity, energy transition, digital transformation. But land reforms, financial sustainability, and execution speed need further policy attention. Land reforms, financing, sustainability, execution speed need further policy attention.